The power of the sea exists within me. Its pulse won't stop and fills every drop. Like waves, we all move. Here and there a crash, occasionally calm, and then in a flash we seem yet alone, and it's a curious thing, but connection's still there as together Some say life's a test, and once we give it our best, we'll be able to move on to a radiant dawn in heaven with God and his wondrous things, on streets paved with gold and the joy that he brings. Still others yet say that life's a replay, and what we do day to day will be redone in some way, recycled, reborn, reincarnated to grow, and after living as all, then the truth we can know. What have I to learn when I am the source? I am the undying fire and the universe force. There's nothing to grow, and I already know. What have I to fear when I am the God? I am the life of it all, and my glory's the mod. I need not surrender, only remember who I am. Life's filled with distractions and too many actions.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is the Go Dome. Got game 4 coming up in just a few moments. As you can see here, Castillo is warming up on the mound, taking his last few pitches before we get started. I appreciate you all being here today. As you can see, I've made some changes to my scoreboard. Had a little bit of extra time this morning, so I decided to mess around with it just a little bit more. George Springer is due up at the plate. Here he is right now, the very first pitch on the way, low and inside, ball 1. Here comes the next pitch. It's hit hard to left field, line drive, but called by Rosarena for out number 1. Springer goes down on a nice line drive hit. Almost had himself a double if that had been able to get through. Blue Jays still hitting the ball hard. 94 on the inside to Nathan Lucas. Lucas batting .348 in the postseason with an .810 OPS and OPS, 7 RBIs. He grounds that one to first. Naylor's going to take it himself, and that's out number 2. 4 pitches for Castillo, 2 up and 2 down. I decided to do a little bit of tweaking on my scoreboard because even though I had the pitchers listed and the base runners, I didn't have their images on the screen. I wanted to make it a little bit easier for you guys and gals to see it. 95 miles an hour right in there. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is at the plate. And just for fun, I wanted to let you guys know what I had for breakfast this morning. I stopped at Costco yesterday with Glenn. Picked up a few things. 95, sinker at bottom of the zone. I picked up some Costco French croissants. Wow, broken bat up the middle. It's going to be hard. Crawford makes a play. Is he safe? They say they got him. Guerrero's saying that he's safe. Are they going to take a look at it? Good play by Crawford. It barely got there in time. They're not going to challenge it. Terrible throw, but it got there. So 3 up and 3 down. Mariners dodge a couple of almost hits there with that massive hit line drive to left field to Rosarena by Springer. And then the Guerrero broken bat up the middle. If he hadn't broken his bat, that would have gotten through for sure. So they dodge a couple of minor bullets there. Max Scherzer is on the mound. Coming up next for the Blue Jays, he'll be facing Randy Rosarena, Cal Raleigh, and then Julio Rodriguez. Hey, JD, good to see you. It's great to see you also. I'm feeling all right. How are you feeling today? I fell asleep a little early yesterday. It was a long day because got up early, had the live stream. Of course, I cooked breakfast first, and then I had the live stream. And then after that, I got my stuff together, drove straight to the hospital in Hiroshima City with Glenn. And then after that, we went to eat at Morgan, which is a really awesome cafe that I love. And then after that, we went to Costco, did some shopping for a while, picked up some food items. And then after that, I picked up some ice cream and a cafe latte in the Costco food court, and then headed back home. Got back here actually at a decent time. It was already dark by the time we got back here, but it's getting darker earlier. And I was actually in bed by 9 o'clock. I slept for maybe 3. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. Slept for maybe about 2 or 3 hours. Woke up for a little while and then messed around on my phone, did some video editing, and then went back to sleep. It was kind of a long day. But as you can see, I did some work on my scoreboard today, my scoreboard overlay. I hope you like it. And I'm hoping that it works okay. Because now we have base runners, first, second, and third, right? It should show their pictures and their names as they get on base. But we'll see. Max Scherzer is on the mound. Let's see how the Blue Jays are looking today. JD says, I'm great, boss. Thank you for asking. You're welcome. Appreciate you. Here's the toss. 94 miles an hour, right in there, swing and a miss by Rosarena. They say Scherzer has had a month off. That's crazy. 86 miles an hour. Thrown from third base. Barger makes a bad throw, bounces in the grass, but Guerrero is able to pick it up for out number 1. Rosarena goes down on the ground out. Hey, Dell, good morning. Yesterday was a disaster. Maybe today the M's redeem. Yeah, I understand it was a probably pretty difficult game for you. A couple of people were asking about you because they were worried that you kind of disappeared, but can't blame you if a game like that is happening. I'm not sure that I'd be able to hang around either. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Raleigh, swing and a miss, 0-2. Went out, nobody on here in the bottom of the first. 0-2 count to the big dumper. Here comes the next toss. In the dirt, ball 1. One ball and 2 strikes to Mr. Raleigh. Every time I see the name Raleigh, I think of Raleigh, North Carolina. Here's the toss. 96 in the top of the zone, fouls it off. Count remains 1-2. JD says, I'm nervous for my Seahawks. Texans defense is seriously legit. Seriously legit. JD, yeah, you know, I'm interested if you're going to be here for the game. I'm doing the Texans Seahawks game. I hope you can join for it. It'd be nice to have a conversation with somebody who's on the opposite side, but I'm actually able to have a conversation with a balanced conversation. I think you and I can have a balanced conversation about the game. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That's flowing inside in the dirt, full count. Dale says he was drunk and thought better to keep his mouth shut, just go to bed early. I get it. I did make a joke. I said, maybe he's finding his happiness in the bottom of the bottle. I was just kidding around, but I can understand it. Ooh, just barely misses on the inside. Raleigh draws a walk from Scherzer, and there's one on. Hey, look at that. My icon on the screen works. You see that? How about that? Cal Raleigh appeared on first base. How do you like them apples? I want to take a look at that on my screen right quick and see what it looks like. Rodriguez is at the plate. Here's the first pitch to J-Rod. Low and outside, ball 1. Okay, so I don't have the first base, second base, third base um words, but I'll fix that. I'll fix that. That's an easy fix. Here's a pitch. 95 a little outside, ball 2. If you stream the Seahawks, I'll join you. We can have some objective friendly back and forth. Yeah, it'd be nice to have some I always enjoy having conversations with the opposing teams fans. Low and outside, ball 3. Scherzer has thrown a lot of balls suddenly. He's got Cal Raleigh on first base with a walk, a full count walk. 1 out. 3-0 now against J-Rod and Polanco on deck. Here comes the pitch. Ball 4. 95 miles an hour outside. Not the way to start off in the first inning. 2 runners on with 1 out. JD, are you able to actually watch the game? Are you going to be able to watch the actual game broadcast? Jorge Polanco. Polanco has been really good for the Mariners in leverage situations. Let's see how he fares right here in the first. Here comes the toss. Another ball below the zone. That's 6 straight balls thrown by Scherzer, maybe 7. Gotcha. You can watch. Yeah, some people actually do that here too with the Astros games and the other games. They watch the game and listen in here too. Bounce foul down the first baseline. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, Scherzer's movement and his speed are not bad. His location just isn't good. That's all. He might get there, Sydney. We'll see. His last win in the playoffs was 6 years ago. Can you believe that? There you go. That was a nice pitch. 86-mile-per-hour pitch in the bottom of the zone. Strike 2. 1-2 to Polanco. That was a nice changeup. Yeah, that's right, JD. It's a Monday night game. Seahawks and Texans. Monday night football, baby. Scherzer takes a throw to second base. That's a disengagement. Raleigh on second, J Rod on first. One out. Polanco with the 1-2 pitch. Coming up in just a moment. Here comes a pitch. It's hit up the middle, and it's going to be an easy, unassisted double play to shut the inning down. So Scherzer gets the ground ball right up the middle. All he has to do, Clement, is step on the base and throw it to first base. And that shuts down the bid of the first inning rally for the Mariners. First inning is done. We go to the top of the second with no hits, no runs, no errors. A couple of walks by Scherzer, but he was able to get out of it. Yeah, I believe that the Seahawks and the Texans are a good matchup. I think that this is an opportunity for both teams to show what they've got in prime time. I'm looking forward to the game. Let's see here. I'm trying to get an infield baseball diamond. This one. This one might be okay. We'll see. All right, let's try that. Image. Baseball field. Where's it at? There it is. Let's see if we can move that down below the scoreboard there. I'm working on it. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's getting closer. All right, Castillo's back on the mound. He's facing Alejandro Captain Kirk. Here's the pitch. First pitch was a ball. He flies that one to the infield. Naylor calls it, takes it easy. Out number one, two up and two down. It's been an easy game so far for Castillo. Appreciate it, Dale. Thanks so much. Still got some more stuff to do to improve it, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Mad Max almost lost it for a minute there. Hey, Jesse, how's it going? Here's a pitch. A little low. Ball one to Varsho. Batting 321 for the postseason with a 1.023 OPS, two homers, six RBIs. Here's a pitch. 82 on the outside edge. Strike one. 1-1 is the count with one out, nobody on. Dale says, come on, Polo. Here's the pitch. Up and inside, fouled off. 1-2 is the count. JD says the Seahawks defensive front is really good. I understand the Texans O-line has had its struggles, could be a factor. Yeah, but I think that they've worked it out. They had some adjustments to make and some kinks, but I think they worked that out. The Texans defense is solid, one of the best in the NFL right now. 95 above the zone, 2-2. So I think it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be hard for both teams to, or challenging rather, for both teams to run the offense. I think we'll see what happens. Fell back. Count remains 2-2. Doug says the veteran Max Scherzer on the mound tonight. Yes, he is. Let's hope he evens up the series. It'd be more fun to see a 2-2 series, you know what I'm saying? Another game in Seattle, and then go back to Toronto to wrap it up, wouldn't it? I think so. Here's a pitch. 86 miles an hour in the bottom of the zone, swing and a miss. Got him on the sinker. Out number 2. Yeah. I think you should exchange your nervousness for excitement there, JD. Should be excited for a game like this. It's a great opportunity, you know. See a really good game. Here's a pitch to Clement. That's in there for strike 1. 462 postseason average with a 1.118 OPS, a homer and 6 RBIs this postseason. 94 above the zone. If you just look at the batting averages and the OPS of the Blue Jays, they should be destroying the Mariners just by stats. It's crazy. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's a pitch. That's right up the middle. A 2-strike hit up the middle on with 2 outs. So we have a runner on first base. Okay, this is where we try to resize. Let's see if I can get it to resize. Right there. Right there. And right there. And then right there. How's that? That's a little better. It does need to be moved over just a little, though, I think. And a little up, maybe. There we go. That's better. Line drive straight to Crawford, and he puts it away. Addison Barger lines out while I'm trying to get the base runner graphic straightened out. Barger lines out. That's going to be it for the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays get the first hit of the game in the top of the second. And we are blessed with another Shohei Ohtani commercial. This is a Japanese commercial for pure green tea. At least it doesn't show anything about the draft dodgers. Let's see here. JD says I'd prefer an easy win. I don't think you're going to get that. I don't really like easy wins so much. I would say that I don't in baseball. I don't like a game that is like 1-2. If the Astros win 2-1, I'm happy that they won. but I don't like winning 2-1 in such a long game. I'd rather the Astros win like 5-4. If they're gonna win by 1 run, I think it should be a little bit more interesting. I also don't like to see a 9-8 game, even if they win. Of course, I'm happy if they win, but I don't like to see 9-8 because I don't want the pitching staff to be giving up 8 freaking runs. But I think if they give up 3 or 4, it's not too big of a deal. But at least there's some action, there's some stuff going on. But if they win 10-1, it's great. Now, of course, if they're playing the Dodgers or the Cubs, those rules go out the window. I just want to see them score 20 runs on the Dodgers every single time. Same thing with the Cubs. Girl says, hell, I just woke up from a nap. I'll be up late. Uh, yeah, Sydney, the stats on the screen, I wish I could control when those update, you know what I'm saying? But there's not a whole lot I can do about that, to be honest. There we go. Okay, so the diamond is a little funky. I can always get it adjusted later to where it's more square because you can see that it's kind of tall. The baseball diamond is kind of tall. But I had two options. I can either put text on the screen that says first, second, and third, or I can just do what I'm doing right there. And I think doing this is best. Uh, this way, I don't have to actually put more text on the screen. Just the one picture is good. All right. Scherzer is back on the mound. First pitch coming in to Josh Naylor is a swing and a miss. Man, 94 miles an hour. He tried to launch on that one, was not able to touch it. Here's the pitch. It's hit hard to center field. It might be gone. It's all the way to the track, and it's gone. Barshow jumps up and tries to grab it, but Naylor gets it right over the fence. The first hit of the game, rather, for the Mariners is a homer just to the right of center field. 1-0. Second pitch of the inning. Bottom of the second, the Mariners are now up 1-0. 394 feet. Just barely got over the wall. Yeah, just about 5 inches above the glove there. We've seen 3 of those since yesterday, right? Just barely over the glove. Dale, that should make you feel a little bit better, right? Seeing that homer by Naylor. Naylor nails one. First pitch is a ball to Eugenio Suarez. Dale wants this to end in Seattle. No, I don't think so. That'd be a boring series. I think it should be a little more competitive than that. Here comes the next toss. Fouled off. 2 balls and 1 strike to Suarez. Nobody out, nobody on. 1-0 Seattle. He nailed that one. That's right, Jay. They don't call him Nailer for nothing. Nailed the ball. Here comes a pitch. That's hit out to center field, right field, actually. Camera angle, a little strange there, looking like a. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Dodgers won. Thanks for reminding me. They won again. They are just completely shutting down the Brewers. I don't understand what's going on with the Brewers. Suarez flies out to right field for the first out of the inning. Canzone comes to the plate. Swing and a miss, strike one to Dominic Canzone. Jesse says, dang. Okay, just one. That's right. It's just one. Everybody gets one. 94 miles an hour, fouled off. You guys remember that from Family Guy? Spider-Man saves him. Everybody gets one. Here's the next pitch. In the dirt, Canzone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the next pitch from Scherzer. It's a 1-2 count. Canzone swings and hits that one straight. Second base, Clement follows through with a toss over to first, and that's out number 2. Here you go, guys. Everybody gets one. There you go, Jesse. It's 1-0 Mariners. Everybody gets one. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off by J.P. Crawford. Crawford is actually batting 8th today. They moved him up a slot. Rivas is in the game at second base. He will be batting 9th. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's the pitch. Crawford fouls it off again. It's 0-2. Yes, please do hit the likes button. Please do hit the likes button. Here's the toss. Fouls off. Tommy Likey. Please hit the likey. Tommy Likey. His 0-2 pitch. Below the zone, taken for ball 1. Yeah, Jay says Dodgers win again. Dell says thanks for the bad news. I'm with you on that, Dell. Freaking Dodgers. It just means it'll be a bigger letdown when the Brewers come back and win. That's hit high into right field. Easily playable. Barzer's underneath it. And that's out. Number 3. But Naylor nails one to just over the glove there of Varsho to get 1 run. 1 hit for each team, 1 run on the board. Mariners take the lead in the 2nd inning. We are done with 2. We go into the 3rd inning. Castillo back up on the mound in just a moment. He'll be facing Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Haven't seen him in some time. And then Andre Jimenez and George Springer. If you have not liked the live stream, I would remind you to do that right now. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. How many do we have right now? We've got about 37 viewers. That's not bad for this early in the game. That's actually a lot more than usual this early on for these playoff games. These playoff games have normally been around 35 to 40 views in the middle of the game. But I appreciate you guys and gals being here a little earlier than usual and supporting the channel. For those of you who are interested in the rest of the AL series and the World Series coming up, I do hope that you can join by subscribing. If you like what I'm doing here, feel free to make a one-off donation. And if you want to stick around for a while, you're welcome to become a member. But at the very least, a like on the live stream would be much appreciated. Just that little thing matters a lot. It really helps a lot to make the channel successful and to help it grow and become better and better and better. That's my goal, is that these live streams become better and better and better and better. I want to make sure that the value you receive here is far beyond what you're actually expecting. Already I know that it is above that. You can come here and listen in and watch. Costs you nothing. You don't even have to like it. you don't want to. But regardless, I want to make sure that the value is far and away above anything else that you can find on YouTube. So, and I am a one-man show. For those of you who are familiar with some of these sports channels, there's one that was originally called Sports Map Houston, and there was a show that they did called Stone Cold Stros. Those of us who are Astros fans are probably familiar with it, but recently they made an announcement with a video yesterday. And in that video, they talked about how when they started off, they were paid. They basically have a parent company that was paying them, all three of these guys, to do this show. Well, that's not that's not what happens here on this channel. I don't get paid by a company. Nobody pays me to do this. The only way I can make money on my live streams is either through donations, memberships, super chats, or ads that run on my channel. I would like to get rid of the ads. I'd like to turn the ads off. But I do make, I can make, if it's a busy month, I can make over $200 on ads. It's not a whole lot of money, but for me, it's a lot right now. Let's hit down the line. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is going to run to second base. Double. Leadoff double for the Blue Jays in the top of the third. So Falefa comes in his first at-bat of the postseason, or at least his first hit of the postseason. All of his stats were 0. Right down the line, Suarez can't get to it. That brings up Andre Jimenez. But anyway, I'm a one-man show. That's just what I want you to know. I'm a one-man show. Literally everything you're looking at and listening to comes from me. I produce the music, all the graphics, the coding, the scoreboard layout, everything I do myself. I don't get paid by any companies or corporations. It's just me. So I appreciate your support. Okay, advertisement finished. Self-promotion over. 2 balls and no strikes to Jimenez. Here comes a 2-0 pitch. Right in there on the slider, but swing and a miss. 2-1. Jesse says, I forget who said about the Brewers. May have the best record in MLB, but they don't have much playoff experience like the Dodgers. Wouldn't be surprised if the Brewers lost the series. Yeah, but the Dodgers also have a tendency to break down in the playoffs, you know? Fouls it off. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jimenez. Sydney says, frickin' Dodgers, why are the brew jobs imploding after a great season? Good question. MLB wants the Dodgers in. It's better money. I think it's better money for them to have the Dodgers in. Fouls it off. They got like a ton of Japanese players, and the Dodgers are a big market team. And by having them in the World Series and the playoffs in the World Series year after year with all these Japanese players, they get a lot more international money and attention. And that's my honest opinion. It might sound like a conspiracy, but trust me, I do not believe it is. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ripped down the first baseline, foul. The count remains 2-2. Yeah, that's right, Jesse. I think LA will clinch the NLCS to the World Series. And to think that the Astros swept the Dodgers during the regular season, oh well, life goes on. Maybe the Dodgers feel very confident with Stros not being in the playoffs. Yeah, but the Astros not there to kick them out. Same with the Mariners and the Yankees. They do better when the Astros aren't there. But when the Astros are there, they're scared crapless, I guess you could say. 95 outside, full count. If Rivas is on second, where's Polo playing? Here's a pitch. That's hit hard to right field all the way out to the wall. Is gone. 2-run homer. Andre Jimenez batting ninth in the lineup for the second day in a row. has a home run. That's his second postseason home run yesterday and now today. The Blue Jays are up 2-1. Just like that. 364 feet, 102 miles an hour. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Just enough to get out. How about that? Got to be careful with those left-handed hitters. You know, in game 3, they're 8 through 8 ninth hitters, or 5 for 10 with some big hits and RBIs. Springer grounds out to first base. Here's that homer pitch. Right in there. Right across the bottom of the knees. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Yes, my precious. It's my precious.
Nathan Lucas is at the plate with 1 out, nobody on. Springer grounded out. 1 down. Here's the 1-0 pitch. High strike. 94-mile-per-hour fastball. Swing and a miss. Dale, Polo is the DH today. He's the designated hitter, in case you didn't figure that one out. Just wanted to let you know. Just got busy with the game. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lucas. Here comes the toss from Castillo. That's grounded up the middle, and that's another hit. The Blue Jays continue the hitting against the Mariners. That's 4 hits now for the Blue Jays. 3 this inning. A double, a homer, now a single. If they get a triple this inning, they'll have the cycle against Castillo. That brings up Guerrero Jr., and he goes right up the middle in the very first pitch. Another hit. That's hit number 5. Look at that. Lucas goes to second base. And that's going to bring out the pitching coach. Not surprised. Wow, already 5 hits for the Blue Jays. 4 alone in this inning. 2 singles, a double, and a homer. Castillo's up to 41 pitches, 29 in the zone, but the Blue Jays are smacking him around. Wow. That was Lucas's hit right up the middle, and then Guerrero line drive right up the middle. Runners on first and second with 1 out.
Alejandro Kirk at the plate.
Here's the first pitch to Kirk. Too far inside. Ball 1. Jesse says, "Let the floodgates open. Let my people go." Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Little far inside, 2-0. No problem, Dale. Yeah, Polanco's got to be in there. He's got to be in. He's too hot. DH is good enough. If he can't be in the field, DH is good enough. Here's the 2-0 pitch. 95 right in the middle of the plate. 2-1 is the count. Angels swept the Dodgers too. Yeah, the Dodgers fell apart after the Astros really dealt the Dodgers a deep mental blow, because after that they just kind of fell apart for a while, you know? It seems like they're trying to get it back together. Maybe it's because they know that they don't have to face the Astros. We'll see. But if the Mariners win out, they'll have to face the AL West, you know what I'm saying? Here's the pitch. 95 up and in, 3 balls, 1 strike. But, look at it this way. If the Blue Jays win, then the Dodgers have to face a former Astro. if the Mariners win, then they have to face the AL West. So either way, the Dodgers are screwed. Look at it that way. Here's a pitch. Up and in, but called a ball. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Strike two. He thought it was a ball four. Now it's a full count to Kirk. That was right on that corner. Barely got it. 96 miles an hour. Perfect pitch. Casey says, let's go, birds. Here's the toss. Fouls it back. Stays alive. 3-2. Daryl says Blue Jays win this game. I want to see him win just to extend the series. I don't want a short series. That's no good. Here comes a 3-2 pitch. Low and outside. Woo! Could have been strike three on that outside lower corner. But the umpire says, nah, it was a little too far out there. Just like my sister, too far out there. That was close. It did cross the plate on that outside edge. Wow, are they going to take Castillo out? Bases are loaded, guys and gals. And they're going to take Castillo out after 48 pitches. Can you believe that? Looks like it. Now they're talking to him. And he can't believe they're going to take him out of the game. He had to explain it to him. He can't believe he's coming out of the game. A 2-0 game with bases loaded. You know, that last walk could have been strike three. It should have been strike three, really, on the lower outside corner. So you can't really put all that blame on him. But right now, they're thinking that the best move with one out and bases loaded is to pull Castillo and bring in a different pitcher. Holy guacamole, Batman. Holy guacamole, Batman. There we go. I think that's a little better. Yeah, that's better. Now you can see their names a little better on the baseball field, right? Change the opacity a little bit. Sorry about I was silent there because I was trying to fix something on the screen. But I made the baseball diamond a little darker so that you could see the names of the players on the bases a little better. But Gabe Spire is going to be Spear, Gabe. In Japanese, Gabe would be Gabe. Gabe. Let's see here. Interesting. Yeah, Daryl says bad move. I agree. I'm not necessarily so sure about taking Castillo out of the game right now. I mean, I know that they're hitting him pretty hard, but I don't know because the Blue Jays have been hitting all the other pitchers pretty hard too, you know. They haven't had good luck with their relievers and they're going to burn their bullpen again 2 days in a row. It's not good for the Mariners. 95 right in there. Strike one to Dalton Varsho, who's batting with bases loaded and one out. Let's go, Jays, says Marduk. Welcome in. I'll give you the lobster count in just a moment. It's not very high at the moment. outside, 1-1. Blue Jays have 1 lobster currently. Mariners have 2. 'Cause every time I see Marduk, I think, oh yeah, it's time for the lobster count. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Ooh, on that outside edge, strike 2. Good location there. It is a lefty, but it's lefty on lefty. Could be a grand slam, Daryl, but we'll see. Let's see if Varsho's got it in him. I mean, he's been hitting pretty well in the postseason. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2. Yes, Sydney, you are correct, sir. Thank you very much. Please hit that like on the live stream. Peoples, arigato. Mariners fans about to start hitting those pills again. That's ripped down the first base line. Foul. Count remains 2-2. Bill says back in an hour. Hopefully it doesn't get worse. Yeah, I wouldn't watch this inning either. Maybe not. Varsho had 2 homers. Let's see if he can make that 3. We'll see. Here comes a pitch. Ooh, he fouls that off the mask of the umpire. He says, "Thank you, no, I'm good." Cal Raleigh's like, "You all right, bro?" Umpire literally said, "Thank you, no, I'm good." Little brotherly love between the catcher and the umpire. Runners on first, second, and third. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here comes the 2-2 to Varsho. Woo! Just barely outside. The crowd boos. Upper outer corner, but it was just outside, maybe 2 inches. Yeah, just a couple inches outside. Here comes the full count. Load away, ball 4. Let's gonna walk in a run. 3-1. Wow, what an at bat by Varsho, man. Wow, what an at bat. He got it to a full count and took the ball low and outside. And these Seattle fans are looking a lot like Castillo right now. They can't believe what's going on. Yeah, look at them. They are looking quite despondent at the moment. Next batter is Ernie Clement. Not even close. Ball 1. Angel, welcome in, man of culture. He says it's going to be a repeat of the last game. It's a good question. A continuation, perhaps. Maybe the last game never ended. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Low and inside, and he fouls it off. Did that hit his foot? Yeah, I think that got him on the toe. 1 ball, 1 strike. Should have let that one go for another ball. Got about 30 people viewing right now. That's kind of disappointing. I thought we'd have more. We had more earlier. Thought we'd get more dropping in. You can see right here, right off the top inside part of his foot. Ouch. Ouch, I'm a goucha. 1-1 pitch. Hit way up in the air. Is it playable? Nope. Right into the crowd by the dugout. Ernie Clement with a 481 postseason average, a 1.15 OPS. He's having a great postseason. He's 1 for 1 today. He's got bases loaded with 1 out. 4 for 6. 6 RBIs with runners in scoring position. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Up and in, ball 2. Wouldn't it be funny if Spire just kept walking runners in and they had to pull him out for another pitcher? You know, if the Mariners keep burning through their relievers like they did yesterday, they're going to wear themselves out. Ooh, swing and a miss. 97 on the inside. Strike 3. He comes back and gets the strikeout. No walk this time. Good delivery. That was a big out. Addison Barger at the plate. Lefty on lefty crime going on right now. 95 miles an hour right in there. Strike one. Jesse really wants to see a grand slam. Keeps calling for it. They've had multiple opportunities. First guy walked. Second guy struck out. Let's see what Barger does. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Low and outside. Did he swing? They say he did not. He's safe. The crowd boos. Boo, boo. Yeah, it was close, but it looked like he held up. It looks like he held up. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. 94. Strike two. Good toss. The crowd is finally coming alive. This would be a big, huge letdown for them to give up a big hit right here with them cheering. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Right in there, strike three. He struck him out looking. He just stood there and took it like an Astro. Did you detect my sarcasm there? So he does come in. He gives up one walk, one run with bases loaded, but then strikes out the next two batters to get them out of the inning. A huge loss for the Blue Jays. And just in that one inning, the Blue Jays pick up 7 lobsters, 7 guys left on base. So they have 3 runs, 7 men left on base. The Mariners have 2 men left on base. Absolutely crazy. Brock, most people are Dodger haters. But I don't hate the Dodgers because of the team. I mean, the fans are typically not good. The fans are very annoying. But it's just because my older brother is a Dodgers fan and he's a jerk about it. So I want them to lose for his sake to teach him a lesson. But so what? Everybody has teams they don't like. What's the point? What's your point? Daryl says, yeah, they got really lucky there. They managed to get out of it. Sydney says, lobster specialists. That's right. We catch them and lose them. So right now, if you were to compare the Blue Jays with fishermen, lobster fishermen, they have a lot of talent to go out and catch them and fill up the traps. But whenever they get back to the dock and they open up the traps, they're like, holy crap, where did they go? Oh, I guess we lost them. Didn't bring them home. You can't just go out there. Maybe it's like this. Okay, normally, like when you fish for lobsters, you pull up those traps, you bring the traps in the boat, you bring the nets in the boat, right? And then you take them back to shore. But basically, what the Blue Jays did there was they pulled the traps up and they're hanging on the side of the boat, and they're like, "Cool, we got all these lobsters. The traps are full. Let's take them back." And then they get back to the dock, and then they go to get the traps, and they're empty because they left them hanging on the side of the boat. So all the lobsters just fell out. They lost everything. How many did you catch? About 10. How many did you lose? 7. It's a terrible ratio. Terrible ratio. Daryl says Astros beat the Dodgers in their first World Series. Yeah, that's right. And I know that the Dodgers fans try to complain about that and talk about cheating, but how do you explain them kicking their butt in LA? And how do you explain the Astros kicking the Dodgers butt repeatedly in LA? And look at this year. The Astros didn't even get into the playoffs and they destroyed the Dodgers. How do you explain that? In LA. 1 ball, 1 strike to Leo Rivas. Max Scherzer up to 34 pitches and 20 in the zone. Here's the pitch. Outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Got about 55 people viewing right now. I appreciate you being here. Here's the next pitch from Scherzer. Low and inside. 2 balls. I'm sorry, 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1. The Blue Jays have 5 hits, no errors. Mariners have 1 hit so far, no errors. Here's the toss. High and outside, ball 4. So that's a leadoff walk for Scherzer as Rivas goes to first. 3-1 is this ball game. Mariners are very lucky to only be down by 2 runs because that last inning, the top of the first, rather, top of the third, I'm sorry. Whew. Rosarina at the plate. Top of the batting order. Strike 1 on the inside edge, 0-1. Dodgers play like they're in T-ball. Yeah. I only saw one Shohei Ohtani at bat today, and he struck out, so it was nice. It was on a 101 mile per hour pitch. I laughed. That's hit to left field. It's pretty deep, but should be playable. Scherzer didn't look very happy about that one when it was hit, but it died pretty quick. Caught out in left field for out number 1. Look at this. They got a pitcher and 2 quarterbacks playing over the age of 40. That's amazing. Cal Raleigh at the plate. Low and inside, ball 1. Raleigh 0 for 0 today with a walk. Full count walk, I believe. $63 viewing. Please like the live stream. Arigato gozaimasu. Comes the 1-0 pitch. The big dumper takes it below the zone. He gets a little burnt by the umpire as he calls that one a strike. The Cal counter. Cal counter. Are they kowtowing to the big dumper? Here's the 1-1 pitch. Nope. He goes over to first base. They get him? Woo! I think they got him. Guerrero's wanting them to take a look at it. They might challenge this. They might have picked him off at first base. That was a good move by Scherzer. It looked like they got him. I don't know. From that angle, it looked like they got him. We'll see. Whoa! I think they got him. I think they got Rivas at first base. Yeah, they got him. Pretty sure they got him. Yeah, they got him. He's out. I mean, just within less than an inch. Yep. His hand wasn't even on the base yet, and they got the glove on him. I think that's a first pickoff for Scherzer in this game. Man, what a good move that was. Great tag. They're definitely reviewing it. Wow. Yeah, the fans are not applauding that one. They're not confident that that's going to be held up as safe because they called him safe. Should be out number 2 with the pickoff. He's hanging out on first. He's not convinced, but you were too far off, bro. That was a good move by a veteran. He's overturned. He's out. Told you. Blue Jays retain their challenge, and Rivas goes to the dugout. Scherzer takes a couple of warm-up pitches, and he says he's good to go. Raleigh's still at the plate with 2 outs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody on. Daryl says, I could see myself playing football at 51. Not. How about flag football or maybe touch? Here's the 1-1. 94 right in there. Fouled back. 1-2. Yeah, Daryl really pleased about that one. Yes. First pickoff since 2016. August 30th, 2016. How do they know these stats so fast? Here's the pitch. Oh, check swing. Did he go? They say he did. That's strike 3. The big dumper becomes the big striker. They say he went around and Scherzer gets the pickoff and then the strikeout. Blue Jays fans are celebrating in Seattle right now. 3-1, the score remains. We're finished with 3 innings of ball, y'all. We're finished with 3 innings of ball, y'all. I would take this time to say thank you so much for increasing the viewers on. I noticed that we just got over 81, and that's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. We recently cleared 1330 subscribers. Looking for that number to jump up to 1340 and 1350. My next small goal is 1350 subscribers. If you are not subscribed, I invite you to do that right now. If you're interested in the rest of this series, the AL series, the AL Championship Series, I'll be doing that, be doing the rest of these games, and then the World Series. I hope you can join me for all of those. Also, I'll be covering some NFL football games, specifically the Houston Texans games. They're going to be playing Monday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks. You can see my scoreboard here. I've got a really nice scoreboard this is something I took the time to make. This is my NFL scoreboard. It's got all the scores. So the day of the games, I can drop the scoreboard on the screen. And just so you see this is what my football layout looks like whenever I'm doing a live play-by-play. You can see that I've got the football field on the screen. And you can't see it right now because the game's not live. But whenever the team has the ball, there's a ball icon on the field with the icon of the team that has possession. It moves up and down the field. Whenever there's a play, it shows how many yards they gained, where they're at on the field. It also notifies whenever there's a scoring play or a complete pass or an incomplete pass, etc. It's a really cool interactive field that I was able to build with a code and the help of AI. And at the bottom of the screen, it cycles through all of the other NFL game scores. So if you pull that up on your TV or on your computer, then you can actually listen in to the Texans Seahawks game on Monday night. And you don't have to worry about clicking anywhere else to catch the other scores. You can just see them flash on the screen. Anyway, just wanted to plug that right quick so you can see what's coming up on the channel. We are back in the top of the 4th. Gabe is back on the mound for the Mariners. He's facing Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's 1 for 1 today with a double down the line. Starts off with a swing on this one. Fouls it off. 0-1. Fox at Bat says, hello, Go, finally back from the work trip and ready for more baseball. Welcome back, Fox at Bat. Otsukaresama deshita. Thank you for your hard work. That's high. 1-1 is the count to Falefa. Ready for more baseball, are ya? Have you been keeping track of this series? Because yesterday was a crazy game, wasn't it? This game today also has potential. A tad inside, but called strike 1. It was close. 1-2 is the count. Falafel at the plate with the 1-2 count. Charles says, go Blue Jays, take this series. Fouled off. Count remains 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. Gabe Spire coming in with the pitch. Fouls it off again. 1-2 is the count to Falefa. Toronto, 3 on the board. Seattle, 1. Toronto wins this game. It'll be tied the series 2-2. and nobody will have won at home yet. Here's the pitch. Check swing foul ball on the inside. The count remains 1-2. Daryl thinks that the Colts are lucky. Don't let the Jags fool you. They're not all that. The Jags' record is a fluke. Yeah, I've had a couple of people try to take jabs at the Texans to try to make it sound like the Jaguars are garbage. But that's not true. They've got their problems, but you can't just write them off. That's ridiculous. Hey, Gregory, good to see you. Go Blue Jays indeed. I got some good news I'll share with you, ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment from my hospital visit yesterday. This is hit out into center field. It's going to drop. Yes, it does. And look at that. 2 for 2. Falefa with a single to center field. He just kept fouling off all of those pitches and finally gets a hit. Leadoff runner is on base. No outs. This is Jimenez. He had a home run his last at bat, a 2-run shot. Yesterday, he also had a home run. He puts down the bunt down the third baseline. Suarez throws to first to get him out, but the runner will get to second base. 1 down. Look at that. Putting down the bunt, making the sacrifice to move the runner up to second base. Haven't seen that in a while. Think about that. The Toronto Blue Jays are up by 2 runs in the 4th inning, and this guy hit a 2-run homer his last at bat, and they have him sacrifice bunt to move the runner to second base. That's baseball right there. The crowd boos, so that means Springer Dinger is at the plate, right? 0 for 2 today with a nice line out actually in the first, and a ground out after that. Let's see what he does this at bat. Here comes the first pitch from Gabe. 95 inside, ball 1. Go former Astros. That's right. I should probably change a couple of my icons to add some for this series, and then some for the World Series and some for the Texans. That's hit hard to left field. That's going to be all the way to the wall. A double for Springer. Easily scoring is Falefa. Surely he'll score. Yep. 4-1. George Springer with a double. All the way out to the wall. I told you he was hitting the ball hard. Another hit. That's 7 hits for the Blue Jays. 4-1 with a runner on second, 1 out. So the bunt works out. Hey, Marduk. Here's the pitch. Low in the zone, strike 1 to Nathan Lucas. Hardig wants to know with the super chat, the $5 super chat, that I missed the early lobster count. Just arrived. I actually gave a lobster count earlier in your honor, but I'm very happy to give it to you again right now. Here's the pitch. Lucas fouls it off. 0-2 is the count. Hmm. Oh, it looks like there was a broadcasting error there. Let me refresh the screen. It got behind. I don't know what happened there, but there was a technical glitch on the live feed. Okay, I just refreshed it. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes against Nathan Lucas. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to shortstop. Crawford goes to first, and that's out number 2. Springer goes to third. Daryl says, go Stros. Oh, I mean, Blue Jays. That's right. Well, Spire is going to be taken out. So after the ground out to Crawford, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is due up, but they're not going to let Gabe Spire pitch to Guerrero. They're going to bring in a new pitcher, Matt Brash. So once again, the Mariners are having to go through their relievers one after the other. This is playing right into the hands of the Blue Jays if you really think about it. Because if the Blue Jays keep scoring runs and the Mariners keep changing pitchers, that'll be 2 games in a row where the exact same thing has happened. Blue Jays keep scoring, Mariners keep burning their pitchers. If the Mariners keep burning their pitchers, then it's going to be very difficult for them to close out this series. They very easily could have a similar experience tomorrow where they have basically it turns into a bullpen game. Now I know that do they have Wu scheduled to pitch tomorrow? Is that right? But you know what? I have a bad feeling about Wu pitching. I have a bad feeling, to be honest. No, he's not pitching. Okay, tomorrow it's Kevin Gosman versus Bryce Miller. That's who's due up tomorrow. But to be honest, tomorrow's game might turn into a bullpen game for the Mariners because they have not had enough rest in their bullpen. And it could be just another light up session for the Blue Jays. So the Blue Jays could have 3 games in a row where they just light up the Mariners and destroy them 3 games in a row. And then whenever they go back to Toronto, if they go back, they can have a big lead. They could have a nice lead. They could have a 3-2 lead. Wow. It's been a very interesting series. Matt Brash's first pitch to Guerrero is low and outside. Gregory, thank you so much for the Springer hit. In the dirt. Look at that. As soon as I'm typing in the live chat, wild pitch in the dirt. Springer comes home. It's 5-1. Wild pitch. Springer scores as soon as Gregory comes in with a Springer hit super chat. I'm typing thank you about that for the Springer mini dinger. Wild pitch, and Springer jogs home and scores easily. Base is empty for Guerrero. 2-0 pitch. He swings and misses. 2-1. 2 outs. 4-run lead for the Blue Jays. Here is the 2-1 pitch. That's hit hard to right field. It's pretty deep, but it's going to stay in the park. And it's put away by Ken Zone, out number 3. 2 more runs in the 4th for the Blue Jays. 7 hits. 1 hit for the Mariners. It's 5-1 going into the bottom of the 4th. What a game. What a series. Let's see here. Doug wants to know. Oh, let me go back up right quick. Daryl says, Jesse says, Daryl, that's funny. I almost did the same thing. Ghost Rose, I mean, Blue Jays. Doug asks, have you met the young women on the screen? Doug, it's very true. Okay. The women on the screen, I created their careers. I literally created their careers. True story. Because basically every one of these women that you see on the screen, I use the AI tool and I just described exactly what I want them to look like. And then the AI just creates a realistic image of them. So it's pretty cool because I create them. I've created four that you see on the screen. One is wearing the Texans gear. One is wearing like the Rockets gear. One is wearing like an Astros gear, and one is or one actually the Astros gear. It says Go Stros, but you can't see the shirt because she's got her hands like this. But the one that I have on today with the Go Dome, that's my channel theme, right? So they're all branded for all the Houston, the three main Houston pro teams, and the channel sponsor or channel girl. But I basically just describe what I want them to look like. Now, if you're wondering why are they all Japanese? Well, it's because I'm in Japan. That's all. It's just the theme of my channel. I do a lot of anime type stuff. You guys probably already know that if you look at a lot of my thumbnails. I do a lot of cinematic thumbnails and Japanese anime type thumbnails, and I mix it up. I don't keep it the same all the time, but I like really fun, energetic images and exciting, different stuff. I like for my layouts to look different and be fun. I like for my thumbnails to be cool. I don't want to have thumbnails like everybody else. I want to have unique stuff that stands out and really, when people see it, they know that's my channel. You know. But I just try to connect my channel as best I can with where I'm at, and where I'm at right now is Japan. Looks like we've got almost 100 viewers right now. There is a commercial break, in case you're wondering. We're waiting for the bottom of the fourth to start. It's 5-1. There's the score right there. Blue Jays up over the Mariners. Scherzer still on the mound with just 44 pitches. Here comes the first to J-Rod, right in there, 94 miles an hour on the inside. Strike one. Yeah, Gregory, thank you so much. Yeah, for the Springer hit and for your broadcast. Well, you came in at the right time. The super chat encouraged the wild pitch and the extra run. So that run is on you. 0-2, swing and a miss. Julio Rodriguez at the plate with the 0-2 count. Sydney says, is she the go girl? The go-go girl? The go-go girl. Maybe so. Maybe so. Here's the 0-2 pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes to J-Rod. 99 current viewers. Are we going to go over 100? I did notice that we got to 1340 subscribers. Awesome. Thank you so much. We cleared 1340. Looking for 10 more to get to 1350. That's my goal for the day. I would much appreciate it if you, ladies and gentlemen, could support me in that. Here comes the next pitch to Rodriguez. Swing and a miss. Wow. Curveball, 78 miles an hour. Swing and a miss, low and outside. Strike three. That was a nice little toss by Scherzer. Wow, he was way out in front of that one. Nice toss. One down. Jorge Polanco, the DH, at the plate. Superhero outfit. That first foul ball introduces strike one to Polanco. His last at bat, he grounded into a double play. Here comes the 50th pitch of the game for Scherzer. Or 49th, I'm sorry. Strike. 0-2's the count. Yes, Sydney, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys reminding the others to like the live stream. I don't always remember to do that, but you remind me and then I remind everyone else. So, arigato. Here's the pitch, the 0-2. Low and inside, ball one. 1-2's the count with one out, nobody on. And Doug says, it absolutely had me fooled. I thought they were real. Yeah, they do look real. If you just make something basic that's realistic, you can't tell. You can't. That's hit into right field, a little lob. Barger puts it away, no problem. Out number 2. Next batter up is Josh Naylor, who had a home run his last at bat. Fouls that one off. The only run on the board, actually, for the Mariners today so far is that solo homer that was nailed by Naylor. You could see his shoes a mile away. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. 94 upstairs, fouled off, strike 2. Gregory says, nice, thank you. You're welcome. Hey, we got over 100 viewers. Welcome into the Go Dome. Currently following the ALCS. We'll be here again tomorrow and for the next few games, and then all the way through the World Series. I'd appreciate it if you could join me. It looks like Naylor's going to get on base. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. He's going to get the better of Scherzer again. Opposite field single. Naylor is on first base with 2 outs. Naylor's 2 for 2 today, a homer and a single. Naylor's having a good day. I'll say it like I have so many times before. This is a guy I wish the Astros could have at first base. A left-hander. A great defensive first baseman. And a good left-handed bat who does well in the postseason. And that's what the Astros need at first base. Suarez is at the plate. First pitch is hit high in the air and fouled back for strike 1. Doug says, I remember Scherzer with the Nationals. He was almost unhittable a lot of games. Yeah, Scherzer has been pretty darn good pitcher. Kind of a rival of Justin Verlander. Scherzer throws it over to first base. Naylor manages to get back. He doesn't get picked off, but the crowd boos. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Ooh, check swing. Did he go? They say he did. Strike 2 on Suarez. 0-2. Look at that. Yeah, he went around. Good call by the first baseman. First base umpire, rather. By the first baseman. Yeah, that would be terrible if the first baseman got to make the call. Here's 0-2 pitch. In the dirt, 1-2. Josh Naylor on first base. Here in the bottom of the 4th. The Mariners down by 4 runs. It's 5-1. Suarez is at the plate with a 1-2 count. Here comes a pitch from Scherzer. Swing and a miss. They called him Mad Max. They said Mad Max is turning back the clock and gets the K. Hasn't pitched in over 3 weeks. Gets the final out, and that's going to be the end of the 4th and the end of 4 innings. We are done with 4 innings of ball. 7 hits for the Blue Jays. 2 hits for the Mariners. One of those was a solo homer by Naylor. The other was a single by Naylor. He's the only one with hits for the Mariners through 4 innings. Hey, what's going on? Ah, okay. Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you. Glenn just came in and gave me my mail. It was a certified letter, so he had a sign for it. This is my new Rakuten card. You guys know what Rakuten is? Rakuten is basically a complete financial system here in Japan. They have their hand in many things. They have a banking system, they have credit systems, and they have phones. They provide internet and mobile services. Actually, my mobile service is through Rakuten. I also have a Rakuten credit card, and this is an upgrade. Actually, something that they offered me, and I think it'll be useful for me. Do you know what an ETC card is? I don't know if they use the same terms in other countries, in the U.S. and other places, but it's basically like if you're going through a toll gate, right? You don't have to stop and pay. It just scans and the gates go up it charges you and you go through, and whenever you exit, it scans your car again, right? And that's when it charges you, the final charge, and the gates go up and you exit. You know what I'm talking about? It's just the automatic toll gate payment system that they use here in Japan. But this is one of the benefits that I get with this card, this new card, is that it gives me a free ETC card that I can use in my van. It's a little thing. There are a few other benefits, but I'm looking forward to having that. I haven't had the activated in my van yet. But that's not why you're here. This is why you're here. Captain Alejandro Kirk is at the plate. Oops, I clicked the wrong button. But that's because of MLB TV's player. I try to unclick the mute button, and it tries to take me to an advertisement. First pitch is a ball. Second pitch is a strike. So before I can even get the screen refreshed, it's 1-1 to Captain Kirk. We're in the top of the fifth, and Matt Brash is on the mound for the Mariners. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. Here's the toss. Kirk rips that one straight to Crawford on a one hopper, and he's easily thrown out at first base. Kirk not the fastest guy on the field, but I don't think anybody could have beaten out that one. That was a nice line drive straight to Crawford. 1 down. Dalton Varsho 0 for 1 today with a walk and an RBI on that walk. It was a bases loaded walk. Here's the first toss outside. Ball 1. Like easy tag. Okay, Daryl, I guess easy tag is kind of like the automatic toll system or whatever. That's hit pretty hard in the air, but too vertical. Rodriguez is able to get underneath it and catch it, put it away. In center field for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down, pretty quick for Brash. This might be the quickest inning that the Mariners have had in a while. Unless the Blue Jays channel their inner Astros and start scoring runs with 2 outs. Ernie Clement is at the plate with 2 outs. First pitch, he grounds to Crawford, who scoops it up and fires to first, and that'll be out number 3. 3 up and 3 down, no problem for Brash. Gets it done pretty quickly. About 10 pitches. Less than 10 pitches he needed to get out of that inning. Easy inning for Brash. Scherzer doesn't get much of a break. He'll be back up on the mound in just a moment. He's up to 58 pitches, 37 of those in the strike zone. Due up for the Mariners. Dominic Canzone, J.P. Crawford, not J.P. Sears. If you guys know who J.P. Sears is, it's funny. And then Leo Rivas. Let's see here. I missed a few comments. Gregory says, I hated facing him when he pitched against us in that World Series loss. Oh, you're talking about Scherzer? Yeah, I understand. That was the Springer 4th inning. Yeah, basically. It's 5-1. The top of the fifth is finished. We are in the middle of the fifth on commercial break right now, waiting for the baseball's in commercials to finish to get into the bottom of the fifth. Wondering if anybody on the Mariners team is going to be able to get a hit besides Josh Naylor. For those of you who don't know the stats, neither team has an error, but there are only 2 hits for the Mariners so far in this game. You can see them on the screen right up here in my scoreboard where it says H, right? 7 hits for the Blue Jays and 2 for the Mariners. Those 2 belong to Josh Naylor, a single and a homer. The only hits come from one man. Scherzer has just completely owned the Mariners otherwise. If you take a look at his performance, 4 full innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, of course, the homer, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 2.25 ERA. Essentially, what he's been doing is getting the Mariners to ground out and a few strikeouts and some flyouts. The Mariners, on the other hand, have gone through 3 pitchers so far: Castillo, Spire, and Brash. Castillo only pitched 2.1 innings, and he was shocked whenever they pulled him out of the game. He had a little discussion with the pitching coach, but they finally took him out of the game. 5 hits he gave up and 3 runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout only, and a homer. Spire pitched 1.1 innings. Here's the first pitch from Scherzer. He is facing Canzone. That's fouled off at the plate for strike 1. But Spire gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, a walk, had 2 strikeouts, 7.11 ERA. Brash has fared much better. This is hit up the middle, and that's going to be a hit. A very easy, lazy hit for Canzone right between second and short. They have a leadoff batter on base. 60 pitches now for Scherzer, and he changes the ball. And so he's facing J.P. Crawford, the 8th batter in the lineup, with a runner on first here in the bottom of the 5th. Let's see if the Mariners can get something going here and make it more interesting. We'll see. Joe says, yeah, I got to pay for the roads somehow. Well, I think they get more than enough money for the roads. Putting a toll or a tax on the roads is just greed. But then again, I'm one of those guys that doesn't trust the government as long as if government exists, I don't trust them. It's that simple. I'll put it that way. Here's a pitch to Crawford. The 0-1 is a little high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gregory says, I hope Espada wins his first World Series in his 3rd season managing the Astros next year. Well, you know what they say, 3rd time's a charm. Hopefully they get it together and fix all those ridiculous mistakes they made this year. Up and in. Too high. 2 balls and 1 strike to Crawford. Two balls and 1 strike. Here comes the toss. Outside, 3-1. Scherzer looking kind of like he did early on in the game, but Varland is warming up in the bullpen, so it looks like they know he's getting towards the end of his line right here. Here comes the pitch. That's in there, hit high in the air. Crawford starts to slam his bat and then gently lays it down. Varsho catches it for out number 1. Canzone dances back to first base. Still got over 100 viewers. That's nice. 110. Thanks for being here. I do appreciate you so much. It's nice to have the extra viewers today. I appreciate your likes on the live stream. And if you have not subscribed, I'm trying to get to 1350 today. 1,350 subscribers. If you're interested in following for the rest of the ALCS and the World Series, do subscribe and turn on those notifications. In advance, Arigato gozaimasu. 1 ball, no strikes. To Rivas. Rivas. At the plate with 1 out, 1 runner on first. Here's the pitch from Scherzer. That's right in there. 83-mile-per-hour changeup. Nice pitch. 1-1. You know, the Astros, they say the Astros are making a lot of shakeups. You know, I've heard about them making a lot of shakeups, but I haven't heard any talk about the players yet, player changes, and that's where the real shakeups could be, in my opinion. Low and inside, ball 2. 2-1 is the count. Gregory says, if not, the next manager should be Craig Biggio. That would be interesting. You know, I think having Craig Biggio as a manager, even before knowing how he would perform, I think a lot of fans would be excited about that. Here's a 2-1 pitch. A little high and outside, ball 3. This might be the last batter if he loses Rivas here. He's already walked 1 batter. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't walk that batter. Oh, that's hit out into right field pretty deep. Barger on the run makes the catch. Wow. Good catch by Barger to rush over there and save that hit. That was an almost double to the wall. Barger rushes over, jumps up in the air, makes that grab, saves an extra base hit. 2 outs. Wow. Coach comes out. Coach comes out and has a little talk to him. Scherzer sends him back. He's like, I can do this. If he finishes this inning, he will qualify for his first win of the postseason. He's going to stay in the game. 2 outs, runner on first. He's facing Randy Arozarena. This is the top of the batting order. Big moment, not just for the Blue Jays, but especially for Scherzer. Here comes the first pitch. Outside, 94 miles an hour. Ball 1. Yeah, he's like, I am not. He look at me. He was upset. He's like, I'm not coming out of this game. He said, I've got this. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Woo, right in the bottom of the zone. Strike 1, 1-1. Man, Scherzer, he is a man on fire right now. He's wanting this. He can taste it. He can taste this win. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Arozarena. Ooh, 93 right in there. Arozarena takes 2 strikes. It's 1-2, and I've got a fly in here that is bothering the mess out of me. 1 ball, 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner on. Here's the toss from Scherzer. Swing and a miss. Got him in the dirt. Holy crap. He gets the strikeout. Look at that. Scherzer gets the out, and he pitches 5 innings. Five complete innings for Scherzer. 3 hits total. 1 run. And with that strikeout of Arozarena, he secures his bid for a win. It's 5-1. Blue Jays. Good for you, Mr. Veteran. Good for you. Can you imagine seeing Justin Verlander in a playoff game right now and pitching 5 innings like this? I think that all the Astros fans would be really happy to see him doing so well in a playoff game. I would imagine that not just Blue Jays fans, but Scherzer fans are also really happy to see him doing what he's doing today. This was a very important game. Very, very important game. Not just for the Blue Jays in this series, but for Scherzer. I mean, for him to come in a situation like this, and really what they're relying on is he's had a lot of rest. He hasn't pitched in over 3 weeks. And his last postseason victory came, good grief, what, years ago? Some of the information they showed on the screen about Scherzer is just crazy. That's nuts. Daryl says Blue Jays need 5 more runs to put the nail in the coffin. To put the nailer in the coffin, maybe. Gregory says, is he related to Urias we got? Which guy are you talking about? Which which Urias are you talking about? It looks like Vargas is going to be in the game, so the Mariners switch pitchers again in the top of the 6th. So that's the 4th pitcher to come in 6 innings. So each pitcher for the Mariners rather is averaging less than 2 innings each. Castillo only went 2.1 innings. Now, I will say the game didn't get blown up by Castillo. He does have 3 earned runs in 1 inning, which is bad. But considering how 3-0 is not an insurmountable situation. Holy cow, the very first pitch, Addison Barger hits a double off the wall. Wow. The Blue Jays continue to just own the Mariners pitchers. It seems like a continuation of yesterday. No matter who they bring in, no matter which pitcher is brought in the game, they just keep hitting them. Just keep hitting them. Look at this. All the way out to the wall in opposite field, left field. Barger on second base with a double. 1 pitch, 1 hit. Next batter is Falefa. He shows bunt, 99 low and outside, ball 1. Rally inning catch. Doug says, there have been times I wondered if Scherzer retired or not. Yeah, I think he's trying to get his strikeouts and wins up. Same thing Verlander's trying to do, trying to squeeze out a certain number before he retires. Trying to stay relevant just a little longer to get some records. 1 ball, 1 strike to Falefa. Falafel? He bunts it foul, and that's strike 2, 1-2. Oh, Gregory, I see. It was Rivas. I thought it was Arias. No problem. Oh, you mean Urias? You thought it was Urias? Yeah, Rivas. A little different. He bounces that one. Look at that. It was like a swinging bunt. Barger doesn't go to third. Wow, look at that. Falefa. They're showing Max Scherzer yelling at the coach as he goes into the dugout. Man. Wow. Wow. He's like, in your face, coach. 96 above the zone. But yeah, that last play right there was crazy. Jimenez at the plate. Jimenez, rather. Falefa tapped that ball there towards the pitcher, and he was yelling at the guy at second base. He was yelling at Barger to run to third. And he didn't. He stayed on second base. That was funny. Don't see that very often. Fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Or are they going to? No, Suarez can't get to it. I didn't think so. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jimenez. Runner on second base. 1 more lobster created by the Blue Jays right now. They had an opportunity to move him around, but couldn't do it. Yeah, he was so intense, man. Whew. Mad Max. He seems to earn that nickname. Here's the pitch. 99 low and inside, just barely missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That was a dangerous take. One out, runner on second. Barger looking to be driven in. Here's the pitch. And that's hit into, whoa, I thought it was going to go into right field. Naylor grabs it and is able to go to first base, but Barger goes to third. So they got a runner 90 feet away from home plate with 2 down, and the crowd boos as the former Astro, George Springer Dinger, comes to the plate. Nobody is warming up in the Blue Jays bullpen. They might be bringing Scherzer back out. 100 miles an hour in the low part of the zone, fouled off by Springer, and that's strike 1. That's crazy, guys. It looks like we might see Scherzer again. Wow, we're up to almost 200 viewers right now. This is pretty nice. This is turning into a regular broadcast result. Thanks for being here. Make sure to put a like on that live stream. Arigato gozaimasu. 1 ball, 1 strike to Springer. Runner on second, 2 outs. I'm sorry, third. Runner on third. Low and outside. 2-1. Are the Blue Jays going to put up another lobster? Are they going to lose another lobster with a man on third? Or are they going to bring him home and have dinner? Let's see what Springer does right here. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. It's hit hard into center field, right at Rodriguez, and he puts it away. So Springer lines out again like he did in the first inning. Vargas gives up an opening hit. Runner gets over to third, but nothing comes of it. And that'll be it for the Blue Jays and the top of the 6th inning. 8 hits for the Bluebirds. 5-1 is the score. 3 hits for the Mariners. No errors. It looks like Max Scherzer is going to be back on the mound, everybody. In the bottom of the 6th, there was nobody warming up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Scherzer is up to 74 pitches, 46 in the strike zone. He's going to be facing the early part of the lineup. Big Dumper up first with an 0-1 batting performance so far today, followed by J-Rod and Jorge Polanco. Short little commercial break, and we'll be right back. How many likes do we have on the live stream? Let's check that out, see what's going on. Got about 56 likes. That's pretty low. That's around about 25%, a little over 25%. I'd like to get that up as the viewer count goes up. I'd like to get that up to at least 50%. We need 100 likes on the live stream. I would very much appreciate that. Thank you in advance for clicking the thumbs up right below the video. It looks like that. For those of you who don't know what a thumbs up looks like, maybe there are 1 or 2 of you that don't know what a thumbs up looks like. It looks kind of like that. It's similar. Not exactly, but it's similar. Yeah, never mind me. I'm just being ridiculous. Still not to 1350 subscribers, rather. Just need a few more to get to 1,350 subs. That would be a really great goal to get to today. I would be much happy. I would have much happy to get to 1350 today. We're almost back. I think we got a few more seconds on the commercial breaks, and we'll be back in the bottom of the 6th. Scherzer facing Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, and Jorge Polanco. I think that we are back in just a moment. Probably the last commercial. Springer, I don't think he got the RBI. I think he scored a run. Let's see. No, he did get an RBI, and he scored a run. So both. Raleigh rips it down the line on the very first pitch. Scherzer is indeed back on the mound. That was his 75th pitch of the game. Raleigh walked in the first inning, but after that has been basically shut down. He's 0 for 1. Here comes the next pitch. That's hit high in the air. He took a big swing, but it went straight up. Barzer's underneath it, puts it away for out number 1. Scherzer might be able to get through 6 innings here. J-Rod comes to the plate. The crowd applauds a little bit, but they sound very disappointed at the moment. It's 5-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Mad Max beyond Thunderdome, beyond Seattle Dome. Here comes the toss. 85 right in there on the slider. Strike 1. J-Rod has taken a lot of strikes today. He has stood there and taken a lot of strikes and then swung at garbage on that last pitch. 94 inside. He swings at that one, and that's strike 2. His last at bat, he struck out. Swinging at a pitch way outside in the dirt, I believe. Or was that a Rosarena? That was a Rosarena's last strikeout. 4 strikeouts for the Mariners today. 0-2's the count with 1 out, nobody on. Here's the pitch from Scherzer. Swing and a miss. Speaking of swinging and striking out, J-Rod goes down with the pitch low and away. That's strikeout number 5 from Scherzer. He's now up to 79 pitches. 2 down. Jorge Polanco at the plate. Marduk says, "Go Jays." Here comes the toss. Fouled off. Polanco with the 0-2 performance so far today. Fluharty and Varland are warming up in the bullpen. 76 miles an hour, a curveball, swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. 0-2. 5 2/3 innings pitched. Just 3 hits and 1 run for Scherzer. He might be getting himself a 6th strikeout right here. Mariners fans starting to really show their oh no, oh my God faces. Ground ball down the first base side. The count stays 0-2. Hey, how about that? Thank you, Gregory. I appreciate that. Gregory gives me another $5 super chat. Arigato for the Springer mini dinger. Ball 1 to Polanco on that delivery. Special thanks to Gregory Martinez in the live chat for that super chat. Thank you, sir. One of my members, actually. Low and inside. 88 mile per hour slider misses. The count's even 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. They play some heavy music for about 4 seconds, and the crowd lethargically cheers a little bit. Here's the pitch. In the dirt. Full count. Everybody's clapping, but nobody's standing. The crowd is pretty worn down right now. They're not really into it. I think that if Polanco gets on, maybe they'll give a little bit more cheering for Josh Naylor. Fouled off at the plate. Count remains full. Scherzer is up to 86 pitches now. Well, we got 226 viewers. I really do appreciate that. I'm suddenly getting a lot of love. I hope you guys and gals can really enjoy what you're getting here. If you don't mind spreading me some love, I'd appreciate that. A little like. Too far inside. Did he go? They say he did not. That's a walk. Full count walk to Polanco. And that's going to be a little visit. Yeah, immediately comes out of the bullpen and calls for the left-hander. Scherzer's not going to like it, but he's done. Soon as he comes out of the dugout, he calls for the lefty. He's not going to let him pitch to Naylor. Scherzer quietly hands the ball off and walks off the mound. He almost does it. He goes 5 2/3 of an inning. He almost gets 6. He walks one guy after getting 2 outs, and that's it. They're going to pull him out. They're not going to let him. They're not going to let him hang in there. You got to feel good for the guy, though. 40, 41 years old, pitching almost 6 innings, only allowing 3 hits, 1 run. Man, in the playoffs in a high leverage situation, that's pretty amazing stuff right there. So the Blue Jays are going to bring in a left-handed pitcher to face Josh Naylor. The situation here in the bottom of the 6th is that the Mariners are down 4 runs. It's 5-1. 2 outs with a runner on first. Mason Fluharty is going to be pitching for the Blue Jays. Naylor is the hot bat on the Mariners team right now. He's 2 for 2 with a home run and a single. He has 2 of the Mariners' 3 hits today. And one of those is a homer, the only RBI. Gregory says, "You're welcome, boss. Thanks for the dab." Marduk says, "Who's ready for the Texans versus Sea Chickens? Late night, Monday. Sea Chickens, let's cook them up. Cook them up. Cook up those sea chickens." Sea Chickens. Chicken Hawks. The Sea Chicken Hawks, maybe. That's funny. The Sea Chicken Hawks. Gregory says it's a Mad Max world. It is today. It is today. Naylor is due up with 2 outs. Suarez is on deck and Canzone is in the hole. But I think we're getting to a point now where we might see the Mariners start pulling in some pinch hitters over the next couple of innings to try and increase their chances of getting on base and getting some runs. They've got 4 runs just to tie it. Here comes the first pitch from Fluharty. 90 up and in for ball 1. The Seattle bird flew. The Seattle chicken hawk flew. Looking forward to that game. I really, really am looking forward to that game on Monday night. It's going to be fun, I think. Here comes the second pitch, rather. 81, low and inside. So the first pitch is high and inside. Second pitch is low and inside. 2-0 to Naylor. Postseason batting .306. Couple of homers, 3 RBIs, 852 OPS. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss on the outside. Nice Swiffer. Swiffer equals sweeper, in case you didn't know. 2 balls and 1 strike. JD says, "Easy on the Sea Chicken stalk." Sorry about that. Feel free to poke at the Texans, as you like. Like I say, the poke fun is all in good fun, and it's fine. But I definitely won't be an ass. I won't be a jerk towards the Seahawks, but making fun of, the name a little bit is okay. I mean, you're talking to a guy who's an Astros fan, and we hear Astros and Trashstros and all sorts of ridiculous nicknames all the time. And, Scherzer it definitely looks like Mad Max. He's just staring at the mound like, "You better not give up any runs. I will kill you." Here's a 3-1. Oh, right in the bottom of the zone. Could have been called strike 2, but it was called ball 4. And that is another walk. Look at that one right there. Look at that, right across the knees, called ball 4. 2 runners on with 2 outs. Suarez comes to the plate. Blue Jays not happy about that call. Crowd likes it. Yeah, they have the best, basically the best defense right now so far. Yeah, well, you can respect the Texans, but also you can poke fun. It's okay. The only teams that I won't respect are going to be the Dodgers and the Cubs. Like I said, every other team I'll have a degree of respect for. Now, some fan bases I don't have any respect for. Some players I respect, but I don't respect the organization or the fan bases. That's a base hit to right field for Suarez. They're going to wave him around to third. They get him at third, and he's out. They send Naylor around a third base, and Barger fires it to third and gets the out. Wow. Look at this. They said that Barger averages 96 miles an hour on his throws from the outfield. Look at him gun down Naylor for the out. But the Mariners score 1 run. 1 run. It's 5-2. So the single to right field by Suarez drives in 1 run. Now they're down by 3. It's more manageable with 3 innings left to play. But Barger guns down Naylor at third base. You know, Naylor's not a slow runner. He's not the fastest guy, but he's definitely not slow. But man, that was just an amazing throw. But can you believe that? That Barger's average throw from the outfield is 96 miles per hour? Man, if I had an outfielder throwing to me when I was in high school, 96 miles an hour, I would have been like, dude, why aren't you pitching? For reals. For reals. Doug says, I think Scherzer would have been a great addition for the Cardinals as he's from that area. Possibly so. I mean, I will say that Scherzer, while he's a strong guy and he's talented, he's also got a very unique personality, you know. I think he's called Mad Max for a good reason. Yeah, Sydney, that pitch call that cost him a run. It wound up costing them a run. That was a bad call. That was a strike, not a ball 4. But you never know. Seahawks D isn't exactly a joke. Yeah, you're right, JD. I don't think it is. Yeah, Marduk, I've been to Seattle once. I wasn't able to spend a lot of time there. I was only there for like 1 day, but I was able to see a friend, walk around a little bit, you know, hit a couple of places to eat and see the city. It was a really lovely place. At the time, the areas I went to, that was that was several years before they had some of the problems that they have today. But hey, I was impressed with what I saw at the time. That was many years ago. Carol says he fell short running to Mexico. What? Uh, that was a bullet, Maximus. You're right. JD says never make the first out or the last out at third base. Hmm. Yeah, Sydney, that's right. Wow, and viewers compared to yesterday. Right now we have 213. We were climbing up there. We got close to what, 230? That's great. I appreciate everybody being here today. It looks like we have Edward Bizzardo on the mound for the Mariners now. Another pitcher. Let's see if the Blue Jays hit this guy too. They haven't scored since the 4th, though, even though they've been getting some extra hits. Blue Jays have 8 hits right now and 5 runs. That one is fouled off, that first one, for strike 1. Here comes the next pitch to Nathan Lucas. 96, outside edge, swing and a miss. 0-2 is the count. Ooh. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fouls that one off. 96 again in the low part of the zone. Nathan Lucas steps out of the box for a moment. Righty against lefty. Nathan Lucas has been having some pretty good success at the plate. This is an opportunity for him to get hit. He does hit the ball this time, but it's a grounder straight to second base. Rivas throws it over to first for out number 1. This is that throw earlier from Barger. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate. First pitch is a ball. Second pitch on the outside edge. Strike 1, 97 miles an hour. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. That's hit hard into right field. Pretty deep. It could be gone. It's at the wall, and it is gone. 6-2, Blue Jays with an opposite field homer by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who does it again. Continues to be so dangerous in the postseason. 359 feet, 109 miles an hour. And he answers the run that the Mariners were able to get. Once again, just barely over the glove. That woman didn't commit to it. She's dressed up as a witch, and she was not able to cast a spell and catch that ball. Outside, 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. To
Captain Kirk. Alejandro Kirk at the plate.
95 outside. 2-0. Daryl says, wow. If I had $1 for every time Daryl said, wow. Blue Jays giving a lot of reasons to say wow. That's for sure. 82 right in there on the slider. 2 balls and 1 strike. So the Blue Jays continue their ability to hit every single Mariners pitcher. 5th home run of the postseason for Guerrero Jr. 95 right in the bottom of the zone. So 2 balls and then 2 strikes, and the count is even to Mr. Kirk. 0 for 2 today with a walk in the 3rd. Maximus says, hitting is in the DNA. It seems so. Home run Jays. Home run Jays indeed. More runs needed, and Vlad delivers. That's right, he answered. That's very important, though, when the other team scores, to come back and get that run back, or those runs back to answer is very important. That's a ball 3, so full count to Kirk. Here comes the pitch. Right in there, fouled off.
Captain's log starting October 16th, 2025, and I'm at the plate with a not so great batting performance today. I'm 0-2. Change that to 0 for 2 with a walk. And I just struck out.
Swinging a foul tip miss into the glove of the big dumper. They are still showing the Guerrero homer. So close, right? Once again, just over the glove. Right in between his glove and the witch's glove. The witch of Seattlewick? Eastwick? Here's the pitch. Dalton Varsho at the plate now with 2 outs and nobody on. Takes that first pitch in there for strike 1. Nobody on, 2 down, low and inside, 1-1. Maximus says he hits like his dad. Yeah, I think so. Varsho also 0 for 2 today with a walk. That walk led to an RBI since bases were loaded. Fouled off. 1-2 is the count. 222 viewers. Hey, guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, we cleared 1350 subscribers today. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I really do. I didn't expect to get to that today, but it's really nice. Today's a big turnaround day. We had a huge increase in viewers. I'm not sure exactly why, but maybe it's because a lot of people are still excited for some baseball. Swing and a miss on that pitch. 96 right in there on the 2-2. Varsho goes after it. Can't get the bat on it. And that's going to be it for the top of the seventh. But the Blue Jays answer with a homer from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladdy puts another one over the wall. That's 9 hits for the Blue Jays. No errors for either team. 6 runs on the board. 4 hits for the Mariners, 2 runs on the board. There's a 4-run lead going into the bottom of the seventh. Mason Fluharty is on the mound for the Blue Jays. He should be facing Dominic Canzone, J.P. Crawford, and Leo Rivas, the bottom of the Mariners batting order. I'll be right back. I'm going to stretch my legs and grab a drink. We're on commercial break in the middle of the seventh inning stretch time. Be right back. Remember to like that live stream. Arigatou gozaimasu. All right. Check out what I got, just as a joke. It's a French croissant. Tribute to the Blue Jays' performance today. If the Seattle Mariners perform well, perhaps I will pick up a Starbucks coffee or a Seattle's Best coffee. Both of those are in the town nearby. So this is my tribute. We're almost back from commercial. Somebody was just holding up a sign in the crowd that said, "Mariners, please, you have to do it." That sounds like a Mariners fan begging, crying, please. Of course, not all Mariners fans. Just I see many fans in the stands in Seattle with this type of like crying and begging and pleading, please, please win. 0-1 pitch. Bounced to second base. Rivas throws him out. 1 down. Dominic Canzone grounds out on the second pitch. Daryl says, I got my spring water, and I turn my water into wine. The toast. Congrats, Blue Jays, from longtime Mariner fan. Here's a pitch to Crawford. He grounds it right to Rivas. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was Jimenez at shortstop. I thought they had a shift on. But Jimenez grabs it and fires it over. 2 up and 2 down. 2 ground outs. Back to back. The toast says, looks like you guys, the Blue Jays, are going to move on to play the Dodgers. Good job. Impressed by Max and his pitching. Did not see us coming back. Well, Toast, Even if the Blue Jays win today, it's only 2-2. The series is tied. It is going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but the series isn't over yet. Don't give up. 1 ball, no strikes. Leo Rivas at the plate. I actually called the second baseman for the Blue Jays. I called him Rivas, but that's actually Falefa at second base. Rivas is batting right now for the Mariners. That's hit hard to right field. That might be no. It looked like it was going to be gone, but it's in the park and a diving catch by Barger. Wow, great play for out number 3. Rivas hit that one. It looked like off the bat it was going to go out of the park, but it was in play, and Barger is just all over the place with great throws, great catches. Wow. Kind of doing it all. He's got 1 hit today, but his defense is getting her done. That's it for 7 innings of ball. The Mariners have 2 more innings to make up that 4-run deficit. Bazardo was up to 19 pitches. We'll see if the Mariners keep him in the game or if they decide to burn another reliever here in the top of the 8th. Ernie Clement is due up, followed by Addison Barger and Isaiah Kiner Falefa. 260 viewers. Are we going to get to 300 today? That's kind of unheard of for a non-season game. I do appreciate you guys and gals being here. We're on commercial break. Commercial break right now, if I can talk. Maybe I need a bite of this croissant. It is a Costco croissant. For some reason, when I eat it, it makes me speak like this. It is very good. Opposite of my terrible French accent, no? Almost back from commercial break. Top of the 8th coming up in just a moment. Pardon my silliness. Let's take a moment to look at the lobsters. The men left on base, where each team had opportunities to move them around. Marduk, if you're listening in the live chat or listening to the live stream, this update is for you, sir. The Mariners have 7 lobsters lost. It means they had 7 runners on through 7 innings. And were not able to move them around, not even one base. So they caught 7 lobsters and then lost them before they could bring them home. The Blue Jays, on the other hand, lost 11, which isn't too big of a deal. Not really, because they scored 6 runs. So they lost 11, but they brought 6 home. So that's where we stand right now in the top of the 8th. It's 6-2 Blue Jays. Emerson Hancock is the new pitcher. So the Mariners are indeed burning another pitcher. 4-5 record with a 4.9 ERA, 90 innings pitched. Not a very high strikeout rate, and his walk rate's pretty high. That's right through the left side. Ernie Clement gets a hit on the very second pitch. Daryl says better than a French woman. Oh, ooh. Mild burn there. What about a French Canadian woman, Daryl? First pitch to Barger, fouled off, 95 miles an hour. So isn't it funny? No matter who they bring in, no matter which pitcher they bring in, it seems that they get at least 1 hit. The Blue Jays get at least 1 hit off of any pitcher that's brought in by the Mariners. 94 inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Barger. He did have a double in the 6th inning. He was not driven in, but he got on base. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Low and in the dirt. Raleigh stops it. Good stop. Runner remains on first. Charles wants to know, how does the game location work in this series? One more game in Seattle, then back to Toronto? Just guessing. Yep, they do 2-3-2, Charles. So 2 in Toronto, 3 in Seattle, and then 2 more in Toronto. That's the way it works. It's a 2-3-2 format. 3 balls and 1 strike to Barger. Here's the toss. Right in there, he fouls it off, the 95-mile-per-hour sinker, and the count is full. Mr. Page, I get that. Go Clouseau. Inspector Go Clouseau. Ball 4. So 1 hit to the leadoff batter, and then a walk on a full count to the second batter. Hancock has now pitched 8 pitches, and he is facing Isaiah Kiner Palefa. Miles Straw is coming in the game to pinch run for Barger. Barger is out. Do you really? That's kind of crazy, though. They took Barger out. He has been stellar in right field, and they're taking him out for a pinch runner? I'm not so sure about that. We'll see. Palefa showing bunt. Pulls the bat back, and that's ball 1. Jason says, as a Mariners fan, I'm depressed now. I feel like this ownership group, this is our only chance to make the series. Our ownership won't spend money. Well, you know, I think that this series was mismanaged, to be honest. That's a good bunt. He fires to first. Good play by the pitcher to get the out at first, but the runners are advanced to third and second. 1 down for Andres Jimenez, who's been hitting pretty well since yesterday. Jimenez has a homer today, a homer yesterday. Two RBIs with that homer earlier. First pitch is low, ball 1. Doug says, Barger having a great night in the field. Put a star next to that one if you're keeping score. That's right. I'm surprised they took him out for a pinch runner. They just hurt their defense, I think. Up the middle, and that's going to score a run. Jimenez continues to be hot. That might score 2. They're waving him in. That ball was hit very lightly, and he's going to slide in there safe at home. That's 2 more runs for the Blue Jays. It's 8-2. Jimenez, yeah, the fan's not looking too happy there. Jimenez has now driven in 4 of the 8 runs on the board for the Blue Jays. Just a nice, easy, slow grounder up the middle. Plenty of time for them to send both runners. The throw came in, but it just wasn't on target, and Straw was able to get there. So the pinch runner actually works out, but I'm still not sure about the call, though. Simply because of defensive purposes. George Springer is at the plate, takes that first pitch for ball 1. Runner on first. 1 out. 78 on the inside corner, or the inside edge, rather. 1-1 is the count. Blue Jays lighting up the Mariners now. 6-run lead in the top of the 8th. Here comes the pitch. Too far inside. Almost nicked him on the knee. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hey, we got over 300 viewers today. Pretty nice for this playoff series. Haven't seen that yet. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss on the outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to George Springer. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, make sure you leave a thumbs up on my video. Much appreciated. That's hit really high in the air and out of play on the left side. The count remains 2-2 to Springer. In the DH spot today, Springer is 1 for 4. He has 1 hit, 1 RBI, and 1 run scored. He's got a runner on first base right now. Hancock steps off the mound for a little disengagement. Plays around with the rosin bag a little bit. 1 out. Runner on first. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Little tabber back up the middle. And might be a double play, and he's safe at first base. He steps on second base, and then Rivas fires it over to first, but is not able to get Springer. So 2 down, runner on first. Nathan Lucas will come to the plate next. Jesse says go Springer. Fielder's choice, unfortunately. Way to blow our only chance at the series, boys, says Jason. You're giving the Jays too much momentum. Well, yeah, I mean, they are burning their pitchers left and right. It was opposite before. The Blue Jays needed rest. And since yesterday, their pitchers have gotten that rest. And since yesterday, the opposite has happened for the Mariners. They've been burning their pitchers left and right. So the scales have flipped. Hoffman, a right-handed pitcher, is warming up the bullpen now for the Blue Jays. Yeah, Kevin Gosman and Bryce Miller, they're saying, are the probable pitchers for the next game. That'll be the last game in Seattle. Unfortunately for Mariners fans, even if the Mariners are able to win the series, it won't be in Seattle. It can't be. Not after this loss. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to Lucas outside. 3-1. How many likes do we actually have? I need to refresh my screen so I can see that. I can't see on screen how many. I can only see the viewers and the subscribers. 103. We got over 100. Thanks so much. 104. High and outside, ball 4. Springer was stealing second base, but it doesn't matter. With that walk, there comes a jog. So Lucas walks to first, and the pitching coach jogs to the mound. They're going to have a little chit-chat. It doesn't look like they're going to take Hancock out. Budzinski. What kind of a name is that, Budzinski? Hey, Bud. Nope. Call me Budzinski. That sounds like a little kid whose dad just calls him Bud. Hey, Bud, what you doing, Bud? Dad, call me Budzinski. I told you, I like Budzinski. All right, Budzinski. It sounds like a phase that a little kid would go through, you know. His dad just calls him Bud as a nickname, but he likes being called Budzinski. Yeah. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Here's the first pitch. That's hit hard to right field and playable. Woo! Scary moment. First pitch, fly out to Canzone. It's been a pretty interesting game, but it's been pretty much all Blue Jays all the time. It's 8-2. Going into the bottom of the 8th. So after scoring 3 and 2 in the 3rd and the 4th, the Blue Jays come back and score 1 and 2 in the 7th and the 8th. They've got 8 runs on the board with 11 hits. Count them, 11 hits. No errors. The Mariners score 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 7th with 4 hits. No errors. That's been the tale of the tape. Yesterday and today, I feel like today's game has been kind of a continuation of yesterday's game. A few things have happened since yesterday. The Blue Jays have been hitting the ball consistently off every single pitcher that the Mariners put on the mound. That's the first thing. Second thing is that the Mariners have been pulling in one pitcher after another, going through a lot of their starters and relievers, and that's not good. So they've been wearing out a lot of their guys. They haven't been able to get a lot of mileage out of any of their pitchers. So they've been wearing down the bullpen of the Mariners. And the other thing is that the Blue Jays pitchers have been able to get mileage. They've been able to stay on the mound for quite a while. So everything is going the Blue Jays way since yesterday. So their bullpen is getting rest. Their starters are getting a lot of innings. They're having good results, and the Blue Jays are giving them a ton of run support. So yesterday and today, they have completely flipped the script from the first two games. I mean, the first two games, everybody was saying, "Holy cow, the Mariners are for real." And up to that point, I really thought that there's no way that the Mariners can stay hot through a whole series and beat the Blue Jays so easily because the Blue Jays have been so good for so long. And if you look at their stats, here's the thing. Look at the stats. On the Mariners side, if you look at their batting averages and OPS, they only have one guy in the postseason who's batting with a 1.0 OPS, and that's Raleigh, and he barely has it. He has a 1.057. Everybody else is below 900. All right, but the Blue Jays have a guy 1.47, another guy 1.1, and then you've got another guy almost at 1.0 at Varsho, Springer at almost 1. He's over 900. Jimenez is over 900. You've got multiple guys way up there and lots of batting averages over 300. If you just look at the stats, they are massively outperforming the Mariners despite being so bad in the first two games. It's just crazy. Mathematically, they should be destroying the Mariners, and they have the past two games. Arozarena's at the plate. Jeff Hoffman is on the mound for the Blue Jays. They moved Miles Straw into left field. And they put Nathan Lucas in right field for Barger. 96 up and in. 2 balls and 1 strike to Rosarena. Alan, I was wondering where you were. Welcome back. Let's see here. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 96 right in there. Nice toss. Jesse says you would hope the BJ's fans don't pull Stroh's 2023 LCS where they win all games on the road in the series, but lose all games at home. We'll see. Yeah, I have to say that I was thinking about that. 95 right on that outside edge again with a strikeout for Rosarena. This time he stands there and he watches it on the outside edge. 1 down. Hoffman has Cal Raleigh up next on the menu. Wow. July 23rd, 2024 was the last time the top 4 hitters for the Mariners went hitless. More than a year ago. 15 months ago was the last time the top 4 hitters went hitless for the Mariners. First pitch is a ball to Raleigh. Here's the 1-0. He hits that one up in the air. Might be playable on the left side. It looks like it is. And he's down. Clement puts it away. He's over at third base. 2 down here in the bottom of the 9th. Julio Rodriguez due up next. Oh, yeah, Maximus, I mean, obviously, this game is pretty much in the bag. So as long as the Blue Jays win here, it has to go back. It has to go back to Canada. They're not going to be able to end it here in Seattle. So they missed their chance to win at home. 96 miles an hour outside edge, strike 1. 0-1 to J-Rod. He had a walk in the first inning, but that's pretty much it. Are we going to get to 400 viewers? We're up to almost 350 now. In the dirt, low and outside, 1-1. Can we get to 50% likes? That would be 150 likes. We're at just 109 right now. 110. Thank you so much for hitting the like. 95 fouled off. 1 and 2 is the count. If you guys and gals can put a like on the live stream if you haven't done so. And I would like to say, domo arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The king, thank you very much. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the toss. J-Rod takes that up and in. He started to go after it, but he pulled back. It almost clipped him. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. It didn't matter. It's in there. Check swing. Whether he win or not doesn't matter. It's strike 3. Rodriguez goes down with the Hoffman strikeout. So the Blue Jays pitchers are doing the very thing that the Mariners pitchers have not been able to do, and that's sit the batters down. That's it for the 8th inning. We are done with the 8th inning, and I'm going to take another bite of this French croissant. Actually, want to hear something funny? This cup that I'm drinking out of is a Starbucks cup. I'm not kidding. So I've got a Starbucks cup, Seattle-based company, and a French croissant. It's the perfect match. I don't have the coffee right now. I'm just drinking some, this is a 7-Eleven sugar-free orange drink. It actually has fiber. Yummy. This is not a mukbang. I'm not here to eat for you. Does everybody know what a mukbang is? Where you just record yourself live eating a bunch of food. I promise that's the only thing I'm going to eat on camera today. It's just that one croissant. I'm finished. These are mini French croissants from Costco. They got big ones and the small ones, but for my diet, the small ones are more manageable. But yeah, definitely Maximus. It's going back to Canada, I think. The Mariners would have to score at least 6 to send us into extra innings in the bottom of the 9th. I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just not likely. Still got a commercial going on right now. It's always nice to see highlights of the Dodgers players making mistakes. 338 viewers right now. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Let's push it to 500, baby. Let's go to 1,000. That'd be a record. That would indeed be a record for me, that's for sure. Almost done with the commercials. Almost done. My guess is that they have a new pitcher on the mound. Hancock was up to 24 pitches. Probably the long commercial means that the Mariners have a different pitcher on the mound in the top of the 9th. Nope, Hancock's still on the mound. Alejandro Kirk is at the plate. He's 0 for 3 today. First pitch is a ball. Second pitch, up and in, ball 2. Emerson Hancock, 26 pitches. 2 balls, no strikes to Kirk. That's right in there. 94 miles per hour on the fastball. 2-1. 125 likes right now. Are we going to be able to move that up to 150? 94 up and in, ball 3. 3-1 to Captain Kirk. I see the name Hancock. It makes me think of the Will Smith movie. Here's a pitch. 93 right in there. Full count. Yeah, the views are nice today, Brendan. 322. That's awesome. Can you imagine having 322, 400, 500 views? We would have that on an Astros game for sure, maybe even more. Swing and a miss. He goes down on the 3-2 pitch, 94 miles an hour. What are you doing, Captain Kirk? Alejandro Kirk is 0 for 4 today. He hasn't really contributed. He had one walk, struck out twice. Pretty much it. Dalton Varsho at the plate. 87 miles an hour, low and outside. That was a whiff. 0-1. Varsho had a walk with an RBI, but has no hits today so far. That's hit really hard out to right field. Just barely misses a home run at 326 feet. About 15 feet foul. 0-2's the count. He destroyed that one. That line drive shot down the line. Next pitch is outside. Change up misses. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brendan says, sorry, been busy today getting ready for my uncle's funeral tomorrow. My condolences again, Brendan, about your uncle. That kind of reminds me of one of the reasons I went to the hospital yesterday, because I needed to talk to my hospital counselor about my last wishes, just in case something less than desirable happens to me. Because those of you who've been following my channel know that I'm dealing with an illness. 77 miles an hour at the top of the zone. Swing and a miss by Ernie Clement. And the count's 0-1. Sir Anthony Dominguez is warming up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. This is a little pop into center field. Rodriguez makes a sliding catch. Nice little grab there for the third out. Good job. Nice and easy as she goes. Good one. Good job, J-Rod. So that's it for the top of the ninth. The Blue Jays don't pile on any more runs, but it seems that they might have more than enough. They've got a 6-run lead. It's 8-2 going into the bottom of the ninth here in Seattle. The crowd is super quiet. Everyone that's left in the stands is just sitting down, bundled up in their sweaters and jackets, either looking despondent or just chatting with each other. The Blue Jays fans in the stands are having a good time. 11 hits for the Blue Jays in this game. The final lobster count for the Blue Jays is 14. So in this game, the Blue Jays lost 14 runners on base, but they drove in 8 of those runners. The Mariners, on the other hand, let's see, 7 left on base so far that they did not move around, and only 2 runs. But they still have 1 at bat remaining to try to do something. Let's see what they managed to do. I noticed that we got to 1360 subscribers today. I was looking forward to getting the 1350, and we surpassed that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that. I really do appreciate it. It's much appreciated. I did want to give a quick update for those of you who know me. I've got several people, members and subscribers here, but I went to the hospital yesterday for a few different reasons, and one of those was to talk with my hospital counselor about a few things, and got those things straightened out. Also gave her a gift, this cup that I had collected while I was in China. I gave it to her as a gift. I just want her to have something to remember me by, and she'll remember my gratitude for everything that she's done for me. The other thing is that the good news is I had my blood pressure checked, and it is The best it's been in more than 3 years. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. I was shocked. So, there's some good news. It's a little thing, but, considering how my blood pressure had gone up so much recently, I was kinda concerned about that, and then, recently it has gone down, and it is basically right in the normal range right now. Can you believe that? So I'm happy about that. So just wanted to share that. I don't see any shoes on the heads yet, Jesse. I did yesterday, but I haven't seen any shoes on the heads today. I think they got the demoralization because I haven't seen any shoes on the heads today. Sir Anthony Dominguez is on the mound for the Blue Jays taking his final warm-up pitches. Hey, Rusty Gamer, good to see you. Welcome in. Bottom of the ninth, we go. Evening, everyone. And he says, awesome to see all the viewers and new subscribers. Absolutely. It's been really great today. The door has kind of opened up a little bit. YouTube has opened the door, and it's largely in part, I think it's primarily due to all of you guys and gals, you ladies and gentlemen, putting the likes on the live stream. Like I said yesterday, that's why it's so important to put the likes on the live stream. If you stick around and you watch it for a long period of time, the view duration is very important. The likes are important. The subscriptions are important. All of that's important. Blanco's at the plate, takes that first pitch low and inside from Dominguez for strike one, 97 miles an hour. Just barely clips that corner. Hey, look, somebody trying to put a shoe. There they are. The shoes are now out. They wait until the ninth inning, it looks like, to put the shoes on the head. Flip flop. That's a pretty dirty looking shoe. 1 ball, 1 strike to Polanco. Here comes the pitch. Low and inside. 98 miles an hour, ball two, and the count is 2-1. Yeah, I'm starting to see all the shoes, but I don't understand why I didn't see shoes several innings ago. Why are they waiting until the ninth inning to show all the shoes? Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's hit high in the air into center field. Varsho comes in, and he'll make the play for out number one. So the top four batters, check this out. The top four batters for the Mariners, Randy Rosarina, Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, and Jorge Polanco, 0 hits today. The last time this happened was 15 months ago for the Mariners. That's insane. The Blue Jays completely shut down the first four batters in this lineup. Naylor is at the plate. This is a man who was not shut down today. He has a hit, an RBI, a walk, a run scored. 2 for 2 today with a homer. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. 99 miles an hour, and he hits it to the left field side. Is he going to go for two? No, it's brought in really quick. He's not going to get a double. He's laughing and pointing out to left field. He's pointing out at that fast throw. He got out there quick. Opposite field hit. Look how fast he got out here. Look how fast. Wow. He brought that in quick. Kept him at first base, so Naylor on first base. He's 3 for 3 today. The only Mariners bat having a great day. Swing and a miss. Suarez can't touch that one. 98 miles an hour, strike one. So 1 runner on, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth. 98, low and outside, 1-1. Jesse says, not sure why Mariners fans do that. The shoe on the head, I can tell you why. I looked it up. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice curveball or a sweeper. 1-2 is the count to Suarez. One guy did it a while back, a few years ago or something, several years ago in like a playoff game. The Mariners were way down, and he did that in a game. and it kind of went viral because they were down by many runs and they came back and won the game. They wound up winning the game, and then it became a thing for uh for rallies, especially when they're down by a lot of runs. This is hit high in the air. Should be out number 2 on the right side. And it is. It's put away by Falafel. Runner remains at first. Mariners are down to their last out. Brendan says there was a crazy Thursday night football. Who played? I didn't even pay attention to it. Maximus says, thumbs up, bro. Thank you so much, Maximus. Rusty says, great to hear that, Brandon. Keep it up. Thank you, Rusty. Marcus says, I'm sorry, a new sub and wasn't able to message until now. We should get better, bro. You be my prayer. Thank you so much, Marcus. I really do appreciate it. Seriously. All of your prayers for my health are greatly appreciated, and I wish you all the best with your health and your family as well. Your health, your family's health, those that are near and dear to you. Health is so important. Mental and physical health, very important. 1-0 is the count to Dominic Canzone. 98 miles an hour on the outside edge, but just a little outside. 2-0 is the count. Sir Anthony Dominguez. Every time I hear his name, I think it's Sir Anthony, like Sir Anthony Hopkins, but it's S-E-R. It's one name, Sir Anthony. That's in there for strike one. Well, if it isn't Sir Anthony Dominguez, welcome back to the castle. Here's the toss. 97 fouls it off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. They are 1 strike away from evening up this series. Brendan says your blood pressure went down when the Astros were out of the playoffs. Well, I will say this. At the end of the playoffs and the beginning of these, whoa, wild pitch way over his head. Naylor will jog easily to second base. 3 balls and 2 strikes on that one. That was a crazy wild pitch. That's kind of a strange modification there. Yeah, but my blood pressure went way up to about 160, over 160. It was crazy. 98 miles an hour, low and inside. He took it for strike 3. So on the 3-2 count, Dominguez struck out Canzone, and that is it. 6th team in MLB to win games 3 and 4 after losing the first 2 at home. I think that the Astros did that also, right? The Astros did that with the Texans, but for those of you who don't know, the Astros had a 7-game series that started in Houston. They lost the first 2 games, went to Arlington, won 3 games, and were ahead 3-2, and then went back home and proceeded to lose the series. They never won a game at home. Neither the Rangers nor the Astros won a game at home. But this series is tied up 2-2 right now. What a series this is so far. 11 hits for the Blue Jays, 5 for the Mariners. The final score is 8-2, which you see on your screen right there. That's the final score, 8-2. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's game, let's take a quick look at this. And by the way, thank you, before you all leave, thank you all very much. We went up over 400 views today. I was not expecting that, but I do want to say thank you for your likes today on the live stream. Thank you for all the new subscriptions, subscribers. We were able to get up to over 1,370 today. That's crazy. We're creeping closer and closer to 1,400. And tomorrow we'll be back for the next game. Tomorrow's game will be a little bit earlier than today's game. Let's take a look at it, shall we? Let me move it over so we can maybe I can zoom out a little bit so we can get this all on the screen. Maybe that'll work right there. We'll see. Is that good? Yeah, that'll work right there. Okay. So as you see on the screen right here in the middle, it's a little small, but for me, it's 7:08 in the morning. And today's game for me was about 9:08. So tomorrow's game for you and for me is 2 hours earlier than it was today. Just to let you know. According to ESPN, the Mariners are favored to win. I don't think it's that it's this skewed. I would say it's 50-50. It depends on who shows up. Gosman is going to be on the mound for the Blue Jays, and Bryce Miller is predicted to be on the mound for the Mariners. They match up pretty evenly with their performance so far. ERAs are somewhat similar. Innings pitched are similar. Hits given up, strikes, ball or walks, and homers almost exactly the same straight across the board, just minor differences. So as far as a pitching matchup is concerned, it looks like they are pretty close, pretty even. So it's going to come down to the hitting and the relievers. Now, I will say this, like I said earlier, today and yesterday, the Mariners, their issue has primarily been not getting the batters out and burning through too many of their pitchers. The Blue Jays, on the other hand, have been able to extend their pitchers to rest their bullpen and get a lot of hits and score a lot of runs and give them tons of run support. So the script has been flipped essentially from the Blue Jays being kind of worn out to now the Mariners kind of being worn out. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out tomorrow and the next day because it could be really difficult for the Mariners at this point, but we won't know until tomorrow. But today's game was pretty crazy to see that the top four guys in the Mariners lineup didn't even get a single hit. So Rosarena, Raleigh, um, Rodriguez, and Polanco, the top four batters in the Mariners lineup, not a single hit. And that hasn't happened since August of last year. Just so you know, that's about 15 months. That hasn't happened in 15 months. That's absolutely crazy. But one last thing, let's take a look at the live chat before I'm out of here. Um, Maximus says, thanks for the coverage. Go, bro. Thank you, Maximus, for being here. Thank you for the support. Brendan says that Thursday night game was Steelers Bengals. Ah, okay. I got you. I got you. I'm going to have to go check out those highlights because I do loosely follow the Bengals because they have Burrow, but I know that he's been in and out. But I would like to see that. If you said it was a crazy game, I'll believe you. I'll go check it out. Sydney says only 8. Wow, we're going cold. Yeah, only 8 runs. Let's see here. Dane Whittle, Washington in the World Series. Great broadcast. Thanks to Sydney. You're welcome. Great crowd. Great support today. Great subscribers. Great likers. Great commenters all around. It was a great game. Great chat. Great group of guys and gals. Thanks for being here. Marcus says, brother, I'll be back tomorrow too. Thank you, Marcus. I will see you 2 hours earlier tomorrow than today. And thank you for coming in. Once again, that's it for the game today. As you see, the Blue Jays tied it up. First 2 games went to the Mariners. Next 2 games to the Blue Jays. We're all tied up. See you tomorrow for the last game in Seattle. And let's see if the Mariners can turn it on and make it more of a game, or if it's just going to be more of the same. We'll see you tomorrow. That's all for now. Arigato gozaimasu from Hiroshima. And until tomorrow, have a good one. Have a good morning. Good